Hi, my name is Jacob Womble, and this is my English 10 book talk. I've decided to do my book talk on the book The Revenant. I read this book for my April novel. This book would be considered in the drama thriller genre. This book was written by Michael Punk. Michael Punk is an American novelist born December 7th, 1964, in Torrington, Wyoming, United States. He graduated from Cornell Law in the 1990s. In 2009, President Barack Obama elected Punk to serve as the Deputy United States Trade Representative and a U.S. Ambassador to the World Trade Organization in Geneva, Switzerland. The book The Revenant follows a group of experienced mountaineers or explorers who set out to find new land in the Midwest of the United States. The expedition takes them through the land of the Ree. The Ree are the natives who live in this area. The Americans and the Ree are not friends, to say the least. Hugh Glass, the protagonist in this story, gets viciously mauled by a grizzly bear. After his groupmates decide it's time to leave Glass, two men volunteer to stay behind and give Glass a proper burial if he does not pull through. The two that stay behind, John Fitzgerald and Bridger, leave Glass for dead, steal his rifle and his knife. Glass is determined to get home and get his revenge on Bridger and Fitzgerald for stealing his rifle and his knife. Hugh Glass made his journey through rough terrain and conditions to make it home. To Fitzgerald and Bridger's shock, Glass makes it home. The climax of the story occurs in a courtroom where the fate of Fitzgerald and Bridger is to be sealed by the town members for leaving Glass. Hugh Glass is the protagonist in this story. He lives a normal, rough and tough life as a pioneer in his age and time. He has a half-native son named Hawk. Glass has a big human-to-nature conflict in this story as he crosses paths with a mother grizzly bear and her cubs. She viciously mauls him to set up the plot for this story. John Fitzgerald, the antagonist in this story, is a very nitty-gritty, hardcore lifestyle. He's a very cocky man who thinks he is always right. He has a big human versus human conflict in this story, as he leaves Glass and steals his rifle and his knife, and Glass is determined to come back for his revenge. The setting of the story occurs in the rough wilderness of the Midwest of the United States in the 1800s. The terrain is so rough in this story that the only people you will find in this part of the wild are the American frontiers and the Ree. I will read a paragraph from page 36 of The Revenant. For 3 days they had carried Glass. The banks of the Grand alternated between sandbar and jumbled rock. Occasional stands of cottonwood gave way to the high water line to the graceful branches of the willow, some reaching 10 feet in height. Cut banks forced them to climb, giving giant scoops where erosion sliced away the earth as neatly as a cleaver. They maneuvered around the tangled debris left by the spring flood. Mounded stones, tangled branches, and even entire trees, their sun-bleached trunks as smooth as the glass from the beating of the water in the stone. When the terrain became too rugged, they crossed the river to continue upstream, wet buckskins compounding the weight of their load. The river was a highway on these plains, and Glass's men were sure they were not the only travelers it had. A connection I made while reading this book is text to text. The other text I connected it to is Prisoner of Dieppe. And although in Prisoner of Dieppe is based in World War II, the characters had to go through the same tough conditions and terrain. And in both stories, there is an enemy that they must avoid or kill. I fully recommend this book to anyone who is looking for a thriller read. It was a total page turner for me. Thank you for listening to my book talk.